Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Italian National Youth Debate Championship in English language. My name is Riccardo. I will chair this debate for today. And today we will have facing the team Dibattissimi English from Abruzzo and the Bright Sparks from Sicily. So first of all, I kindly ask my fellow panelist judges to introduce themselves.
Carlo Nicola Colacino, hi to everyone, and have a good hour with this debate.
I'm Franco Marini, and I wish you a happy debate.
Okay, so today we're debating the motion, "This House regrets the Internet." And before we start the debate, we'll have to take the names of the members of the teams by position, starting by side proposition. So who's the first speaker side proposition?
Hi, my name is Isabella Kizak. I will be the first speaker.
Okay, second speaker.
Hi, I'm Cassandra De Amicis, and I will be the second speaker.
Then we have third.
Not so fast, please. Who's the second speaker? Cassandra De Amicis?
Yes.
Not so fast. I'm typing the name. So.
Okay. And then third proposition.
Hi, I am Marco Morelli, and I will be the third speaker.
Okay. And who's the reply speaker for said proposition?
I will be the reply speaker.
Okay, Isabella. Then for side opposition, first speaker.
Hello, I'm Ivan Manalo, and I'll be the first speaker.
Okay, Ivan. Then second speaker opposition.
My name is Arianna Accetta, and I will be the second speaker of opposition.
Okay, Arianna. Okay. Then third speaker opposition.
My name is Antonino Crisafulli. I'm the third speaker of the opposition.
Okay, Antonino. And then for the reply speech?
I will be in charge of the reply speech. Arianna.
Okay. So Arianna. So once again, today we're debating the motion, "This House regrets the Internet." First of all, a little bit of housekeeping rules. I will time keep this debate with the app, so you will have the acoustic signal for the protected minutes. And if you have some questions, I can answer. So, Antonino?
Sorry, no, I clicked. I wrongly clicked.
Okay. So, again, today we're debating the motion, "This House regrets the Internet." And if everyone is ready and no one has more questions to ask, you can start the debate with the first speaker side proposition, whenever you're ready.
Okay, I will begin my speech in 3, 2, 1. The internet, in its modern day form, was introduced in the 90s. It spread immediately, it spread very quickly, and has become a global phenomenon on which we rely upon with terrible consequences. What is the internet? It's practically a delivery system. It instantly delivers us information, or as we say today, content, from anywhere, from anyone. It is a barely regulated system, one that governments and organizations have been so far quite unsuccessful at containing. It is such a simple tool, yet it has completely changed the way we live our lives, the way we work, the way we interact with other people, even the way we think. We are dependent on it, and we are dependent on a tool which fundamentally harms us. It is an enormous presence in everyone's lives. It's the reason we are able to be here debating today, and it's the reason we are debating its effects today, because it would be safe to say that we live a completely different life than that we would without it. During this debate, we will demonstrate how in the internet's brief history, it has already caused irreparable damage to society and to individuals, and this is why we regret its invention. Firstly, to give a more technical definition of the internet, we would like to state that the internet is a large system of connected computers around the world that allows people to share information and communicate with each other. Given this, I would like to speak about our team line. Our first argument will be that the internet has had a negative impact on modern society. We will speak about the amplification of hate speech, misinformation, and polarization. This will be our first point. Our second point is that the internet has psychologically and physically harmed individuals. Our third point is that the internet has created new and dangerous types of crime and criminals. I will discuss today's for our first point. So during the speech, I will demonstrate that the internet has had a negative impact on society as a whole and how it has facilitated the amplification of hate speech, misinformation, and polarization. This fact has then led, and I will demonstrate that it has led to a more violent, ignorant, and bigoted society, which is incapable of processing and discussing ideas, which is necessary for, yes?
Don't you think that hate speech was worse before the internet, before all the sensibilization that the internet created of it, of racism, of violence?
We believe that a lot of these issues had been solved partly before the invention of the internet. We're not talking about the 18th century. We're talking about the 1990s. The internet has only been around for 30 years. Those issues were already getting a lot better. Racism was already being solved in a much more kind of balanced way, in a way which promoted healthy debate around the topic. And in fact, this is what we will discuss, that in the matters of social discourse, we now have an unhealthy way of communicating ideas. And this is because of the internet. So the internet is a source of information and entertainment for millions of people. These people access new information mainly through social media on which anyone can publish anything with very little or unreliable regulation. We can see this through X, which now has a free speech policy. Anyone can say anything and it becomes accessible. So what does this mean? It means that people can lie, it means they can exaggerate, or they simply can make mistakes in their statements and in their communication. And this leads to a distribution to a massive amount of people of fake news. And we live in a society now where people are more interested in engagement. When I say people, I mean specifically companies, and I mean the algorithms that they create and they create for economic purposes are more interested in engagement. That's likes, followers, than they are in what is effectively the truth, which sometimes is quite boring. We are bombarded with content and information because of the internet's wide reach. And that means it's not enough to be truthful. You have to be interesting. You have to be entertaining. This leads organizations, this leads people to not only make mistakes, to not only exaggerate, but to do so deliberately. The internet actively encourages this behavior because the internet needs you to gain more attention, so more people will stay online and therefore are more likely to give the service, for example, money through advertising. This is not only harmful in itself, but it has also led to a normalization of misinformation. This has brought upon a society which is easy to manipulate, such as, for example, during elections, where foreign diplomats can get involved in elections through fake information, through bots, for example. This leads to a highly toxic discourse, which is fueled fundamentally by an algorithm, which, as I mentioned, is designed to amplify, not get rid of, to amplify ridiculous statements, to amplify anger, to amplify provocation, because these are the statements that get the most engagement, attention, and therefore profit. This online discourse is never productive and will lead to a slower societal progress because we are incapable of talking to each other as we were, for example, in the past. We are incapable of healthy discourse because algorithms push extreme views to consumers because these are the ones that get more engagement. We are ourselves more likely to have extreme views, to want to defend extreme points of view. That means we as a society are more polarized. That means we enter this vicious cycle by which internet users of the internet now deliberately spread misinformation misinformation and hate, which we also have become completely accustomed to. This is normalized. The more of this process that exists, the more normalized this process becomes, the more harm is done to our society. I would also like to mention the internet gap, which creates a disadvantage for those who do not have access to the internet and therefore harms society as a whole as well. Because it's all good that people who have access to computers, who have access to the internet, to Wi-Fi, can access entertainment information, but many people in underdeveloped countries do not have access to these services. This means that they are left behind, and this means that we widen the gap between developed countries and underdeveloped countries. This can lead to devastating consequences for those underdeveloped countries, both societally, politically, and economically. So finally, I would like to bring everyone's attention back to our team line, which is that the internet has had a negative impact on modern society and has brought the amplification of hate speech, misinformation, and polarization. Secondly, that the internet has psychologically and physically harmed individuals. And thirdly, that the internet has created new and dangerous types of crime and criminals. Thank you very much. With that, I end my speech.
Okay, this speech was 7 minutes and 51 seconds. Thank you to the first speaker proposition for the fine speech. Just a little reminder, I would recommend you to not use the acoustic signal yourself, because if I'm using mine and then using yours, maybe it could be a little bit confusing, hearing maybe a double ring when it's just one, and get a little bit confused. So maybe a silent timer could be better. Then if all the judges and the debaters are ready, we can go with this debate with this first speaker of side opposition. Here.
I'll start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Ivan Manalo, and I'm proudly standing as the first speaker of the opposition in today's motion. So I'll first address the definition, then I'll refute what the first speaker of the proposition has stated so far, and then I'll refute all the first speaker has stated. So the first speaker of the proposition said that the internet has brought a negative impact in our society, but their framing ignores the fact that that internet hasn't brought a negative impact only on teenagers, but in everyone's lives. Indeed, everyone has been affected of the use of the internet. However, this negative impacts doesn't outweigh with the benefits that has brought the internet. Indeed, the internet has brought important success. Yes.
Do you think the introduction of the internet has made it easier for elderly people to live their lives?
No, but I think that people shouldn't be interested in internet to be aware of the situation. So moving on to my speech, I want to give our team's line that is as opposition side. We support the internet because it has been a revolution, and indeed we have to find solution and not erase it. Due to it has become a vital tool for everyone. Indeed, I want to point out that that the internet has brought important innovation in many sectors and in every aspect. And I'll discuss it in our first argument, that is the internet is essential for medicine and the education sector. So the central issue of this debate is that the internet has broad negative impacts, but we think that we shouldn't focus on what the internet has brought, but what the internet will what what impact will bring in the future in a long run. Indeed, our criteria for this debate are the social and the economic progress and the accessibility of innovation. No thanks. So with this criteria, we now present our case, which is the medicine and education sector. So medicine and education sector are being evolving and changing in a better way in many sectors and in many aspects of everyone's lives thanks to internet. Indeed, the internet is bringing fundamental innovation in these sectors. And if there wasn't internet if it wasn't invented, many researches and progresses wouldn't be as modern as and precise if there wasn't the internet. Furthermore, many lives has been saved thanks to the progress of the internet. Indeed, nowadays it is more
Why?
easily. Yes.
How does the internet, not technology, how does the internet save lives?
So with the internet, people were more aware of illnesses, and they could cure them in easier way and in a short term. And moreover, I want to underline that thanks to the internet, during the COVID, it helped that moment. Indeed, the internet developed that concern about the COVID-19. Indeed, the progress of the education hadn't stopped. Indeed, there was smart working, and also the lesson hadn't stopped. In fact, every teenager in the world continued to learn thanks to internet, and also that they were more aware about the emergency that was going on. Moreover, the internet was severe for no thanks was severe for that time. Indeed, the internet brought about important issues and information that people couldn't be aware of that, because if there wasn't internet, people didn't know how to manage the situation. Furthermore, as I said in our team's line, we shouldn't erase it from our humanity, but we have to find solution, and we also have to cooperate with the internet and try to find benefits from it. And also, I want to say that the internet has brought important benefits that are more severe than the harm that had brought. With this, I ended my speech.
The speech was 7 minutes and 35 seconds. So thank you to first speaker opposition for the fine speech. Now, if everyone is ready, judges and debaters, we can go on with the debate. We're ready? Okay.
Yes.
So we can go with the debate with the second speech of side proposition. Cassandra, whenever you're ready.
Okay, so I would like to start my speech by refusing what the first speaker of the opposition team said. So initially, he has said that internet has many benefits, and we aren't denying that, but we're denying that. But we're saying that there are more dangers than benefits. Then they define the internet as a vital tool for everyone, but this vital tool leads to addiction, and I would develop this argument in my third point. Then they talked about in response as the first speaker of Proposition PI, it has said that internet, not technology, but internet makes people aware of illness and can cure them easily and in a faster way. But it isn't used by doctors, and we aren't understanding really the bond between computers and sanity. But moving on, I will talk about our second argument. So since the 90s, as the first speaker said, the internet has had an important role in our life with its benefits. However, alongside those benefits, the internet has, for the majority, causes significant psychological and physical harm. In my speech, I'm going to deal with spreading phenomena such as cyberbullying, isolation, addiction, and general decline of physical health in individuals. The phenomenon of bullying has always existed, but in recent times it has changed in its ways of manifesting. In fact, cyberbullying is an ulterior way to torment others, and it has changed because before the bully used to annoy his victim outside its home, and so he didn't create a constant distress. But nowadays, cyberbullying on the internet harass their victim constantly, leading to many problematics such as anxiety. Cyberbullying is easier because you don't have to face your victim in real life, so it's more diffuse. Humans have always been highly social creatures. Even Aristotle defines us as social animals. The spreading use of the internet, however, has made us less so. Why bother to go outside and socialize when we have access to everything and everyone from our computer station or from our mobiles? This has led to radical phenomena such as isolation. Ikikomori, for example, is a Japanese term to identify young people who refuse to go outside, using the internet as the only mean of communication. Moreover, the internet has impacted us not only psychologically, but also physically. In fact, we're developing a lifestyle that's becoming more and more sedentary, provoking many consequences to our health. Statistics show an alarming increase in obesity and a decline of the attention span, especially in the younger population, the so-called digital natives. The internet is more and more used nowadays, so much so that we're developing an addiction, using it constantly for communication, entertainment, and information. This connection often turns into an automatic habit. making it hard to focus on real-life activities and relationships. Because of this, it has become very difficult to decrease its use, and many people will find it really difficult or nearly impossible to live without it. Moving on to our third and last argument, the internet has harmed society in many ways, and one of them, or most of them, are the new crimes that the internet brought to us. Things like fraud or scams are very common in the last decade, and many of people are scammed every day, losing all their money to someone who doesn't care about their feelings of the others. But also predators that lure the younger to telling them how old they are and where they live to find them. And it's a problem that many social medias and games ignore for a very long time. The bullying online is still a big problem. After all these years, it's far to be solved. There are so many cases of students taking away their lives for these problems, and police aren't doing much about it.
Yeah,
Yes?
would you renounce using the net for your needs, the internet for your needs? For example, having an online debate or researching information.
Can you repeat the first part of the question, please?
Would you renounce the use of the internet for your needs, for your personal needs?
We aren't talking about the many benefits right now. We are talking about the problem that it causes. So we are neglecting that it is helpful with many things, but we are saying that the dangers are more and more impactful. So I'm ending my speech by saying that on the internet are still a big problem. Hackers or scammers that can infiltrate in your computer and gain all your information and also destroy your system thanks to those viruses. Buying scams can also be a very big problem because you can pay for something that could never arrive to you or overcharge for a fake item, but everything can be written online, so you can have the possibility to know. I conclude my speech by saying that internet isn't a safe place because it's full of dangers. Thank you.
Thank you, the second speaker side proposition for the fine speech. Now, whenever everyone is ready, we can go on with this debate with the second speech of side opposition.
How long did it last?
7 minutes and 29 seconds. Okay. So now the floor of second speaker opposition, when you're ready.
If you can all hear me well, my speech will start in 3, 2, 1. So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Arianna Cetta, and I'm proudly standing as the second speaker of the opposition. And today I will show why regretting the internet is not only unnecessary, but it is actively harmful. I will first respond to the claims made by the proposition and then present 3 strong arguments, which are health and education, social connectivity, and economy and innovation. So, as proposition said, misuse exists, but the problem is regulation and education, not the tool. This is not a reason to regret the internet. For example, ethical AI frameworks and oversight and human governance can mitigate the use while preserving the benefits in healthcare, education, and economy. Also, internet doesn't isolate people globally. Instead, it strengthens communities and enables activism, for example. Isolation exists, but online communities and support groups reduce it. Um, uh, Ignorance and hatred existed long before the internet, and the tool simply makes them more visible. But it also provides unprecedented access to knowledge and perspectives, which instead combat ignorance. The lack of internet in some regions does not prove it's harmful or a necessity. It should not be defined by those who don't yet use it, because its absence in some countries or among some older people reveals opportunity gaps, not harm. Instead, internet provides massive open online courses, research access, language learning, for example, new skills as many apps provide, like Duolingo, and online therapy platforms who also provide peer support groups and meditation. Most important, remote work and entrepreneurship, like Etsy, allow small businesses to thrive globally. So the examples of the benefits of internet overweight its harmful impacts. Also, as we said, keeping in touch and finding support networks
Guy,
is yes, please.
don't you think that it can spread disinformation because of the fact that everyone can say whatever they want in it?
So, as we said, misuse exists. So, misinformation, of course, can be found on the internet, but it is not harmful because of the internet. It is generated by human way of getting their informations and spreading them. The internet is only making them more visible, not producing these effects. As we said, for example, no, thank you. Cyberbullying is a human behavior problem. It is not the internet itself. Instead, tools from the internet combat it. For example, giving reporting systems moderation and supporting communities. They connect victims to resources and to support networks, and they help recovering faster than traditional systems. People can also become addicted to many other things, like, for example, TV and other traditional information platforms that we know. All that you have said is a consequence of human behavior that is then amplified by the networks and the internet. But it's not right to regret internet because of it. So let's consider our arguments. So our first argument is health and education. So let's see the practical benefits. First, the internet allows to connect doctor and patients, not only, as you said, for telemedicine, also for mental apps and therapy platforms. And health professionals collaborate worldwide through platforms sharing research data in real time. For example, during COVID-19, platforms enable scientists to share the data instantly, and AI predicted some hotspots and helped governments distribute vaccines efficiently. Without the internet, vaccine development would have been slower, and it would have costed countless lives. So mental health services also moved online. Therapy apps and crisis chatbots helped millions to cope with anxiety and depression during lockdowns. And also education too, because yes, please.
Is it a good thing that people look for psychological help from a chatbot?
Yes, because as you said, there are some people that are shy, or they tend to not reach for help, not seek for help. So these platforms provide help to people who would not reach it otherwise in society. So it adds a form of help to our society. So these links also to our values and criteria, because health and education benefits took decades to build, since the internet took a long time. It took decades to be built. So now regretting it would throw away all the time and money and energy spent on this opportunity. Second, the internet, our second argument is that the internet connects people and preserves culture and empowers activism. Minority language and cultures, for example, thrive online, and also, for example, through YouTube tutorials and podcasts, and movements like Black Lives Matter, climate change campaigns also reach millions of people online. For example, also for social engagement and for connection. Many people tend to look on the internet for what they would like to visit and see. And this also helps for our third argument for the economy and creating new industries. And with that, I end my speech.
The speech was 8 minutes and 6 seconds. Thank you to second speaker opposition for the fine speech. Now, when everyone is ready, you can go on with the third speaker side proposition, Marco, whenever you're ready.
I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Hello, good evening. Good evening to everybody. My name is Mark, and I will do the third, and I will be the third speaker of the proposition team. So we had many ideas in this speech that I could agree on or disagree on, but we all know that the internet was introduced in the 90s and changed the life of everyone, maybe in a good way, maybe in a bad way. So let's go on everything that we told. So our first point that was that the internet had negative impact on modern society. The amplification of hate speech, misinformation, and polarization. So this is a true thing, because the internet, just when it came out, didn't harm anyone because it was a new thing, and everybody thought that there wouldn't be any bad sides. So we didn't thought anything about it. We didn't get any difficult to amplify it. But in this day, we know that misinformation or hate speech is a big problem because it's very growing with all the population and things. All these trends and things on the internet are not very healthy for the people. And with this, I go to the second point, that the internet has psychologically and physically harmed individuals, because not only in a physical way that maybe people can just stay on their seat for all their afternoon scrolling, or maybe watching or hating stuff, or just maybe playing on their phones, that this can harm maybe their backbones or these things, but even psychologically, because it's reducing their attention, and it's also reducing their will to study or to socialize. As my team already told us, Aristotle said us that we are animals that socialize through us. We have the difference from the other animals, that we don't go for instinct, but we go with something else. So now I go to the third point of our timeline. The internet has created new and dangerous crimes. So this was a very interesting point, because when in the 90s the internet was created, there were very many scams and all sorts of things. The first one were maybe telephones or these things that many elderly people has been scammed in all these years for maybe other younger ones that don't care about their money and they want just to be richer and gain more attention. So it's not a good thing that people getting scammed every day by the internet, and the police is not doing many things about it. Other types of scams are maybe the frauds that also includes scams of elderly people, but maybe in a more bigger way because frauds are in a maybe bigger type of money. So it's a really bad thing for us. Other types of crimes are maybe the predators that are following the youngers, as we already said. And even cyberbullying is getting the lives of many students. And we're not yet to solve this problem of cyberbullying. So now I will go into the things that the opposition team told us that I don't agree. They said that people can be replaced for maybe AI or other types of chatbots, and I totally disagree with this because humans have to interact with humans or they will not grow in a safe or healthy kind way. Because if you grow up with a chatbot that always says yes to you, always goes politely, when you will meet with real people, how will you go around in a world? How will you do a job or maybe invest and try and find some friends to hang around? You will go down in depression and never come back up. Most of the time, even as they said about Duolingo, the language learning app, is not a good thing because Duolingo many times charges you with ads that can distract your learning skills that obviously a teacher cannot do. So it's not a very good thing being charged so much for just learning a language or maybe learning something else. Because on the internet, all the things that you do, they have to earn money in some way, all these people. Maybe through ads, maybe through scams, all these things. But everybody on the internet wants to gain money or power or attention from others. So I even believe that it cannot be that the internet could save lives, maybe trying to search for your illnesses, because most of the times it can be something too serious or too low to try and find on the internet that could give you a wrong answer. The most safe thing is to go to a doctor and ask him or her to these things, because internet is not fully sure of your illnesses. It cannot stand right next to you and talk with you and see what you have and cure you. It's not like the internet can spawn right next to you a cure for everything. So it's not the case. People are getting dumber every day because of the internet. They spend all the afternoon, as I already said, on platforms that aren't safe or can give them these types of problems. So they don't try to socialize from them. And I think that the term of the internet has been so warped out from in all these years. And I conclude my speech saying that, as already said, the term of the internet has too much changed in these years, from just people trying to reach to maybe friends all over the world to a big disaster that is involving all types of people. And now I finish.
Okay, the speech was 7 minutes and 52 seconds. So thank you to Marco for your second position for the fine speech. Now we can finish the constructive part of the debate when everyone is ready with Antonino, third speaker of side opposition.
Okay, so I'm ready. I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone. I'm Antonino, the third speaker of the opposition. Today I will first give a point-by-point rebuttal of everything the opposition has said so far, and then I'll move to strengthen my case. So, the opposition has talked about the internet, the opposition has talked about the internet, about something that is itself harmful, but the internet is just a tool. It's like we said that paper is bad because it's used for propaganda. So the internet isn't used itself as an arm tool, but as a tool that that spreads information, and the opposite team talk about misinformation. But misinformation existed even before the internet, like in the Second World War, when where the Jewish genocide wasn't discovered until after the end of the war, after the fall of the German Empire. So now we know more about like the genocide in Gaza because because through the internet we have more information, more people who are there and can tell us how it's really there, or how they really live there. Then they talk also about left behind countries. Left behind countries already existed before there were the empires that colonized. Yes, thanks.
Do you think the internet amplifies disinformation?
I think that the internet doesn't amplify, but it contains this information. But we are not forced to listen. We can research more about one argument. We can. We don't have to stop at one point, at one phrase from only one person, but we have to search for more informations. Then responding to the POI about how can the internet save lives. The internet himself doesn't save lives, but is used as a tool by a lot of doctors, a lot of medicine experts to communicate, to research. No, thanks. And to research new tools for the development of medicine, of the health. Then they said that the internet isn't used by doctors. It's absolutely false, because nowadays everything about patients, everything about the people the doctor cure is saved on a database. It's easier for everyone to read about a person informations, for the doctor to read a person informations, and it could help to cure that person, not directly, but it will really help in the process. And then the position said that the internet, reduce the span, reduce people are more dumb after the creation of the internet. This is false, because before the internet there was the TV, there were the radios, and the people. I, I don't think that people before the creation of the internet were all geniuses. There was a lot of stupidity that, thanks to the internet, even the dumber people that don't have the capacities to study can learn new information thanks to the internet, thanks to certified people who talk about these arguments, experts. And finally, the hate speech. The opposition said that hate speech was the hate speech was amplified after the creation of the internet. It's not true, because after the creation of the internet, a lot of minorities were brought to the daylight. Like even if racism before the internet was even there is racism without before the internet was being already sensibilized. Now with Black Lives Matter, like these groups, we are much more sensibilized. We are much more educated to know that that racism is something that needs to stop. But not only racism, it could be also for the harm for the environment. Now, thanks to the internet, a lot of people are searching ways to help the environment to find a better solution to save the planet from environmental harms. There are a lot of protests against this against pollution. A lot of protests about there are a lot of protests of even human rights. There are protests that spread through the internet that really helped the sensibilization of of some arguments. And then I talked about then I want to strengthen our team's case, saying that the internet really helped the world in a lot of ways. It helped in the medicine. It helped like in the education, through the use of digital lessons during the COVID. And the use of books, digital books that helped the weight of the students had to take to school. With this, I finish my speech.
The speech was 8 minutes and 17 seconds. So thank you to the third speaker side opposition for the fine speech. Now I can declare the constructive part of the debate finished. So we can completely close this debate with the reply speeches, starting with side opposition, whenever you're ready.
Okay, so my speech will start in 3, 2, 1. So as I'm proudly standing as the reply speaker of the opposition, I think that this debate has asked one crucial question. Do we move forward and improve technology, or do we look backward and regret it? So this is a debate about human progress, equality, and responsibility. The proposition paints the internet as a threat. They said that it leads to misinformation, addiction, privacy issues, toxic behavior. But instead of fixing these problems, their answer is simply to regret the internet. So let's examine the consequences of their word in real life. Well-being would get worse, not better, because if they promise safety, instead the only resolution to their problems is isolation, because patients wait longer for answer and people lose access to emergency information and global medical research. And also many support, for example, mental health support becomes only available locally. So it removes protection, and also equality collapses because education returns to being a privilege for those who live in rich regions, and it belongs to whoever owns instead media, books, institution. So marginalized groups lose their voice because of traditional systems. And so opportunities disappear because workers lose jobs and small businesses lose customers. Creators cannot share unless someone funds them. So this destroys the first tool that ever allowed ordinary people to succeed in life. Instead, the opposition word acknowledges the risks, but we do not throw away the progress, we improve it. Our principle is simple. We don't regret the tool, but we regulate the measure. So in our words, society grows with responsibility and not with denial. So in our word, well-being improves with access and knowledge, because of the internet that connects people who are isolated and spreads medical knowledge instantly across borders, and gives mental support to those who have no local access. So we protect people by educating and regulating, not by removing the tool. This also expands equality. For the first time in history, education reaches also rural areas, and voices of minorities are not controlled by newspapers, government, or elites. So movements of justice are started by ordinary citizens and not institutions. And so opportunities become universal. So which word is better? The proposition word is driven by regret, reaction to fear. Our word is driven by responsibility and commitment to progress. So it's a word that distributes power and includes everyone. And with that, I end my speech.
Okay, the speech was 3 minutes and 24 seconds. So thank you to the reply speaker for side opposition for the fine speech. Now we can go on the final speech of the debate with the reply speech of side proposition by Isabella, whenever you're ready.
Okay, I will begin my speech in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so thank you for this very interesting debate. I will begin my reply speech by taking a phrase from the opposition speaker. Do we move forward or do we regret? We regret because we are now in a situation where we cannot move forward. We have no choice. As the opposition team said, the internet is now ingrained in our society. It's a tool we cannot get rid of. We have no choice. Therefore, we are imagining in a world where the internet has not even been thought of, in a world where it is not a problem, where the issue of it being ingrained in our society, the issue of us being dependent on it, does not exist. And this is why we regret the internet, not because we are scared of it, not because we do not want progress. We are imagining a world in which it does not exist. So moving on, I'd like to discuss the two main clash points that I have found in this debate. Firstly, who is responsible for the harms caused by the internet? Because we, both teams, have agreed that the internet brings many harms. While our team has stated that the harms of the internet are caused by the internet, amplified by the internet, made worse by the internet, the opposition team simply said they're caused by humans. Yet at the end of the day, humans in today's society, as I said in the beginning, do not have the choice anymore to participate in the internet and structures made by the internet or not. We are now just completely exposed to what the algorithm wants us to believe, and it has taken away, in some senses, our freedom of choice in this aspect. So we are not anymore responsible almost for our own actions. The internet is a tool which has taken the negative parts of humanity and amplified them, made them worse. That is why we regret the internet, and that is why we believe our points about misinformation and our points about the harms of the internet still stand, because they would not exist to this level without the internet. That is what we proved. Secondly, the main clash point was, does the internet present an opportunity for people? Now, superficially, it may do, but when we dug deeper into this issue, we actually found that the internet exacerbates existing problems, such as that of the gap in opportunity. The opposition team spoke of, well, now people in rural areas can do online courses, they can learn a language. They can only do so if they have access to the internet. So people that do not have access to the internet do not have those opportunities. That means that there is now a larger gap between people who have many, many opportunities and people that have none, because we are now conditioned that most of our opportunities have to come through the internet, because we now have to live thanks to the internet, because it's so ingrained in our society. Again, we do not have choice about this. This is why we regret it. We would like to live in a society where it has not even been thought of as a concept. I would also like to address their point about it being either something that is either democratic or and universal, or something ruled by the elite, traditional media. At the end of the day, the internet is still governed by traditional media, which is something that we proved, and we proved that it is governed by algorithms and money-making processes. And that is why the harms of the internet are prevalent today, and that is why we regret the invention and the introduction of the internet. Thank you very much.
The speech was 3 minutes and 57 seconds. So thank you to all the speakers for this wonderful debate. Then we will of course retreat in the judges' room for the decision. And in the meantime, you can still talk to each other, maybe trying to make some friends in the meantime. And we'll get back in like 15 minutes, I think.